It's time now for County-Wide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Brad Miller as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives here in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's County-Wide.
Welcome to County-Wide. I'm Paul David. Great to have you in studio with us today. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis is in studio, and as I've asked him over the last few times you've been here, to bring Phil Bourdon into studio, and lo and behold, there is our county administrator. Hello, Phil. Welcome.
Good morning, Paul.
Great
How
to
are
see you. Great. I'm very good. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Awesome. All right. We're going to talk about Highway 260. Before we get to that, though, you guys had a paper gal here. And I want you to tell a little bit more about that, because we did take some pictures of you guys together with her, and she's off on quite an adventure today, at least today I know of, right? So what is the story behind this this paper gal here?
Well, you
go ahead.
Chip?
We're doing an adventure with some students. They send us a story about themselves and things that they enjoy, and send this paper cutout and ask if we would take this paper cutout on some of our adventures and then write them back and send them some pictures and let them know what adventures that their person has been on. And
who's she with?
She's with Phil today.
She's with Phil today, touring the county with Phil. Jamie J.
And this Jamie J is a friend of Angie at Yes the Ark.
Mm-hmm. Yes the Ark is the organization that sent this to you.
Yes.
Yeah. How many of those do you get?
Each supervisor got one. Administrator.
I think there's about 15 out there in the county.
I bet Jamie J didn't know she's going to be on TV. On the radio, so that's great.
I think she'll be happy.
Yeah, awesome, very good. All right, let's get to 260. We had a little meeting, a powwow yesterday, Board of Supervisors meeting room. ADOT came in. Why don't you kind of fill us in, because we're talking about 260. I guess we should probably go back for those of us who don't remember. 10 years ago, we had ADOT was going to do 260 from Cottonwood all the way out to I-17. We couldn't come to an agreement on half of the road, so ADOT did from Cottonwood to Thousand Trails, and then made some safety improvements a couple of times, I believe, from Thousand Trails out to Camp Verde. But now Camp Verde has kind of come back and said, hey, we really want to get this other half of this two-lane divided highway taken care of and built in. So, does that catch us up pretty good?
That's the
gist of it?
Quick summary, yeah.
Yeah, quick summary? Okay, that's what I like to do. I like to summarize things. Yeah.
We have a remaining 7 miles from approximately the Thousand Trails just south of Cottonwood down to just north of the interstate on Highway 260. So the State Board, Department of Transportation Board has set aside $66 million for this project. One of the caveats is that we fast track it, and in order to fast track it, we need all of the communities or stakeholders involved to get together and come to an agreement on some of the design concepts, and that's where we're at.
Can we talk about the design concepts? Can one of you walk me kind of down 260, that last 7 miles that needs to be done, and we can kind of break it up into chunks and kind of figure out what it's going to look like?
Well, I don't know if we'll break it up, but through that corridor, they've defined 7 access points that they, through the agreement, would identify as either being constructed as part of the project or in the future. And as part of that, also defining only right-in and right-out access points between those at a quarter-mile spacing.
Right in, right out, meaning right turn only?
Yes, meaning you can't make a left out into traffic.
Okay. Where would those points be, those points along the route?
Well, they're trying to do the 1 mile intervals, so you'd have one at the Steve Corey proximity.
Thousand Trails, that area?
The Thousand Trails Steve Corey issue, we've not quite seen the end design on that.
Okay.
Then you'd have another one south of Hayfield Draw.
Gotcha. The OHV area. Okay.
Then another mile to the south of that, and then the Cherry Road intersection.
Which is already established.
And it's the signalized intersection that accesses the Superior Court, the County Road Yard, the Out of Africa, etc.
The jail, yeah. All that.
The tribe on the east side. Then another mile down, each mile interval down. There's some long-time existing residential areas as you get closer to Camp Verde. trying to get those, maybe consolidate some of those access streets into one intersection.
I want to say that's kind of back behind is La Fonda still there?
Uh-huh.
Up on the hill, kind of behind the La Fonda restaurant down there? Yeah, those residential areas? Okay.
Yeah, I think that's Horseshoe Bend.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the general concept. I think where we're at now, each of the cities and towns and the tribe and Yavapai County need to identify what their concerns are, see if they can be addressed, and then sign the memorandum of understanding that we agree to these conceptual ideas, and then that'll move the project forward.
When do we see that happen?
Probably over the next month to 6 weeks. Yavapai County has it on our agenda for 1 month from now. It'll be on the 3rd Monday of December.
Just before Christmas,
the board will address it. Okay. We had a presentation yesterday and identified our concerns. Our concerns were, we want guarantees that there won't be a driveway at every single private property parcel, that there's some type of an access management plan that allows the highway to flow freely, keep the mobility, keep the safety high, and not open it up to too many access points to where it becomes unsafe and doesn't move traffic.
Well, it doesn't. It's not a highway anymore if you've got a bunch of stop and go. I mean, if you got stop and go, it's just not a highway. It'd be like, I guess, uptown Sedona. I mean, you just can't get through there.
Exactly.
So it's no longer really a highway as far as I see it anymore, but it is, but it doesn't act like one.
And that would be a good example. It would be like traveling through West Sedona, or, you know, you get all of those business access points that, you know, not a quarter of a mile, but every 25 feet. And so that's where our main concern is right now.
So that's the county's main concern, is to make sure we're just not having too many access points along the route. Now, how did the ADOT, what did the ADOT have to say to the municipalities in terms of this is either going to happen or not happen? I mean, there's some, the county has to, the county and the cities and towns have to come to agreement by when, in order for ADOT to even consider moving forward on this, and if they don't, will they move forward on it anyways?
Well, the state board, if I can help, placed in their transportation 5-year plan the $66 million for the construction, and with the caveat that they would like that completed, I believe, sometime in the January timeframe. As they approach their 5-year planning again coming up in the next spring, they'll be looking for that IGA to be in place for that money to remain in the 5-year plan.
Okay, so the $66 million is in the 5-year plan. Okay, we'll take our first break.
Okay.
Right. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis is in studio today. County Administrator Phil Bourdon also in studio today. I'm Paul David. This is Countywide. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
When you're out there, there's no telling what you'll find.
I see it! I see it! Oh, look at you.
There are some moments only the forest can inspire. Find yours at discovertheforest.org.
They say that when you're facing extreme danger, your life flashes before you. If you think that's sad, consider facing it before you even have enough life to flash before your eyes. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Deaths and injuries can be prevented by using the right car seat. Visit safercar.gov/the-right-seat to know what is appropriate for each age and size.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life.
Ready or not, here I come.
Take time to be a dad today.
Daddy, I'm gonna find you.
Welcome back to Countywide. I'm Paul David, Phil Bourdon, County Administrator in studio today, and Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis. We're talking a little bit about Highway 260. So the municipalities, there's seven entities, municipalities, have to come together by the end of this year in order for ADOT, just kind of recapping, in order for ADOT to consider to even move forward with the finishing of the 4-laning on Highway 260. Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to be seeing, I guess, on agendas now for cities and towns in the county. Like you said, in 30 days, you guys will be revisiting this just before Christmas. So I imagine everybody will, to either get council approval or not.
I'm confident it'll happen.
What are your concerns?
My concerns are if you clog up that corridor, the new main route into the Cottonwood, Clarkdale, Jerome area will be through Cornville Road. Cornville Road is a county road. It goes through residential areas. It's not geared to be a state highway. Mm-hmm. We would prefer it not become the new state highway with commercial vehicles and high traffic numbers.
That would be like going backwards, if you ask me. That would be going completely backwards, because 260 was a 2-lane road. 89A between Sedona and Cottonwood was a 2-lane road. And we're working on getting those 4 lanes so traffic can move better. So, yeah, I guess if we clog up 260, then, yeah, I guess Cornville Road would be the next road.
Well, and the loss of mobility and safety on that corridor. I think the economic viability for the Verde Valley as a whole, you need to have convenient access. So if folks can't conveniently access Jerome, Clarkdale, Cottonwood, or even, as the secondary route into Sedona, you're going to see the impacts of that. And so we need to bear in mind that the road has a few functions. One is to serve the economic viability of the town of Camp Verde, while at the same time keeping the mobility available for the Upper Verde. And so that balancing act is I think, the devil in the details right now. Mm-hmm. And I hope that the Upper Verde Valley communities recognize that and are aware of that concern and make it known so that we protect the corridor.
Okay. All right, well, I guess it's all going to come to a head here in the next month or so. Has ADOT said anything to the effect of, this is how we want to do it, this is the best way to do it, and it has to be this way, there's no shuffling intersections and things like that, or
no, I think they're still pretty open.
They're still pretty open, so there is some leeway in there.
Yes, Alvin Stump, the district engineer for the Prescott region, for ADOT yesterday at our board meeting, sincerely listened to our concerns and said he would look into them. He actually thought a few were really good ideas to incorporate into the project. So I believe he still has an open mind and is willing to do what he can to try to massage the project to address the 7 entities' needs while still trying to accomplish the State Department of Transportation's goal of moving traffic and people.
Okay. All right. So let's close our talk on 260. That's good. That's all good information. So I guess in the next 30 days we'll be talking about this some more and kind of find out how the cities and towns vote on it and stuff like that, and if ADOT moves forward. Budget. I remember 10 years ago, maybe not 10 years ago, you were here and we were talking about cutting back Post-it notes, paper clips, staples, rubber bands, things like that. I mean, just to try to make the budget fit and work. How are we doing today?
Doing well.
Budget-wise, yeah? Can you expand on that doing well?
I can.
Okay.
We just recently passed our budget in July, and it is a $190 million total budget. The general fund budget, which is essentially property tax revenues, sales tax, shared sales tax revenues, is about $90 million. Over the past 7 years, I think this year's budget puts us about at the 2010 level. So we're still a few years behind.
So we're still saving?
We're still saving.
Or we're just not generating as much as we did in 2010?
Both.
Okay.
We've tried to in the entire time. We haven't actually tried. We've succeeded in not having a budget that was beyond our revenue means.
That's great.
And it's nice to see the economy turning. We did raise property taxes this year, but we did an offset with property taxes from flood control in the library district.
What does that mean?
We raised property tax on a $100,000 home, $13.93. And so consequently, the Board of Supervisors actually acts as the Board of Directors for the flood control district and the library district. So we offset the $13.93 property tax increase with a $13.93 decrease in a $100,000 home in both the library and flood control district.
Oh,
so the impact would be neutral to the property owner. We did that understanding that the economy hasn't totally returned for everybody. It's been very hard for families to maintain their homes and jobs, and just like everyone else. So we are still trying to be very conservative. But at the same time, in the past 7 years, we haven't been replacing vehicles and computers and a lot of critical equipment that eventually is going to cause us catastrophic failure. So we had to make some investments this year, which was the reason for the general fund increase.
Okay.
And with that, we have our budget expert, which is really Phil's bailiwick.
I appreciate that comment. Actually, during the budget year, as we entered into the budget, we had two issues going on. We were looking at how to bring the general fund revenues into in alignment with our expenditures, which the board had kept considerably low over the years, and at the same time also brought on 3 new board members as part of the 5-member board.
Right.
That transition did occur in January after the redistricting process, and so it was very important. The board worked very well together during the budget process. I thought Supervisor Davis, as chairman, provided great leadership as we went into the budget process, and we were able to get through that actually looking very well. We kept, at the same time, not doing any merit increases or cost of living increases for our employees, but yet also trying to make sure we brought into alignment, started bringing into alignment some of our purchasing for our computers and our vehicles. We had been not replacing them at the level they should be over the years. We started bringing it up to about a half of what we should at this point in time. So again, as we watch the economy very carefully in the revenues, we'll enter the next budget year and try to see what we can do with those purchases and work with the board on the budget at that point.
All right, we'll see you on the break. Okay. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis, County Administrator Phil Bourdon in studio today. I'm Paul David, Countywide, back in just a couple minutes.
One of the areas still maturing in an adolescent brain is the prefrontal cortex. So when we take drugs, we alter key motivational circuits, changing the wiring needed for the cognitive function of the brain, until we can't totally deal with things like memory, thinking things out, and even learning stuff.
The signs are there. So is our help. Visit the partnership at drugfree.org for practical advice on coping with teen drug use.
A single ember from a wildfire can travel over a mile. That ember can ignite and destroy your home or community. You can't control where that ember will land. Only what happens before it does. Visit fireadapted.org to learn how you can help protect your community from wildfires.
Look at me. Hey.
Raymond, look at Mommy.
Maybe the light hurts his eyes.
Maybe she's just not hungry. Maybe he can't hear us. Maybe we're not stimulating him enough. Maybe it's a phase.
Avoiding eye contact is one early sign of autism. Learn the others today. The sooner it's diagnosed, the better.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a couple minutes left in the program. We're talking budget with Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis and County Administrator Phil Bourdon. Hiring. We had, everybody did a hiring freeze back when the economy went down, and we're hearing that things are slowly but surely improving, and we keep hearing about that all over the place. What about rehiring, hiring and raises and things like that? How's that coming along?
We're still holding a 10% hiring freeze for each department. One of the things that's unique with counties versus cities and towns, or even state government, we run on a 2-year lag. So the property taxes that you probably paid here in October are based on a valuation of 2011, 2 years ago.
Okay.
So as the economy returns and net valuations start to rise, we don't see that increase for 2 years. So we're 2 years behind basically the rest of the economies. So we still need to hold things very frugal, hold our hiring freezes for a while. We still anticipate changes with the state government. When that 1 cent sales tax went away, they did create an excess of which they're wisely holding on to, but by 2015 that excess will be gone and the state will be looking to balance their budget again. And generally when the state needs to balance their budget, they first turn to counties and then cities and towns. And so
we saw that recently.
We're very cautious in any growth steps because, you know, it's very painful to try to reel those things back in. So we would rather be cautious and move very, very slowly.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah, you never know. We're out of time. Phil, it was great seeing you.
It was great seeing you.
Thanks for coming over. I appreciate your time today. Chip, you too. Good to see you. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Christmas. Happy New Year. All that's coming quickly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so thanks a lot for coming in. Yavapai County Supervisor Chip Davis today, County Administrator Phil Bourdon. I'm Paul David. That's today's Countywide. We'll talk to you again next time.
This has been Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Listen in each Tuesday and Thursday as we tackle the hot topics and talk to the decision makers across Yavapai County. That's Countywide with Brad Miller and Paul David each Tuesday and Thursday on this Yavapai Broadcasting station.